Good afternoon. Jeff Dawson here. Amazon best-selling author of Love's True Second Chance, a true love story about my high school sweetheart, who I reunited with after 30 years and sadly kissed her goodbye for the last time 7 months later. When we got back together, she had breast cancer and it came back with a vengeance. Occupation, a great alternative history series, of which I have 3 books in right now, of vampires taking on the Third Reich. Yeah, it ain't that Twilight crap. This is the vampires Bram Stoker wrote about. And Gateway Pioche, a modern-day time travel science fiction political thriller. Yep, I packed all that into 3 books. Today, let's talk about politics. Yeah, let's not say we did. Nobody really wants to go through that. We're 8 days away from the election, and most people have already made up their mind. So what's the point? What I want to talk about is college football. And before anybody says I don't like college football, I'm wearing my Oklahoma State jersey. That's where I went to school. I'd like to say I graduated, but I lacked 5 hours because I failed engineering calculus not once, not twice, but 3 times. I just couldn't wrap my head around positive and negative infinity. Damn course. But since I'm not following pro sports very little this year, I have been watching OSU, unless they're on ESPN, because I am not going to support that BLM crap that ESPN keeps wanting to throw in my face. The other channels so far have not been heavy on that. But I was looking at the rankings, and I don't know what these guys are smoking. I really don't. Is it the PC culture at work? It's really hard to say. So I go to the rankings, and I find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teams are ranked out of the top 25. And they haven't played a game one. Not one. Well, those would be Ohio State, Wisconsin, Michigan, Penn State, and Minnesota. Well, why are they ranked? I posted that on my Facebook, and one of my friends said, well, it's their past experience and reputation. And I said, bullshit. So you can sit out and not play the first 4 or 5 games like everyone else has and jump in the third of the way into the season and say, look at me, look at me. So what would get the Big Ten off their goat-smelling asses to decide, well, we really need to play this year, and it's for the betterment of everybody? Well, here's the reason. I went to a Big Ten site, and I found several of these schools. Let's start with Ohio State. Their total revenue is $220 million, $210 million, and their expenses are $220 million. So I guess Ohio State is losing $10 million a year. What type of crap is that? Guess what the football revenue is? $115 million. So is that part of the total revenue that they're saying, or is this in excess of that? And you go through the Michigan, 197, and their operating costs are $190 million. Excuse me. So you're telling me they only make $7 million a year? Well, that's a bunch of crap. Oh, what's football revenue? $122 million. Penn State, 164 and 160. Football revenue, $100 million. Wisconsin, 157 to 154. Football, $90 million. Michigan State, 140 versus 135, and football is $80 million. And Nebraska, God, why they chose to go to the Big Ten still just boggles my mind, because ever since they made that move, they have paid horribly. They will never compete the Big Ten. This is not Tom Osborne's school anymore, and everyone who has tried to bring back the magic of Tom has just crashed and burned miserably. They're at 136 million and 124 in operating costs, and the football program is 94 million. So I'm looking at these numbers, and hell, these schools are just barely surviving. Yeah, well, there we go with the football. I guess without football revenue, they'd all close their doors. I mean, you want to talk about, and I've said this before as a Ponzi scheme, because I think it was like 8 or 10 years ago, I looked up the University of Alabama and OU just to see how much money the program brought to the college, and Alabama's revenue for the football program was $100 million. They had $20 million in expenses, so they netted $80 million. Yeah, where the hell is all that money going to? I don't know. But go back to the rankings. So Ohio State was number 5. Wisconsin is 14. Michigan's 18. Penn State's 8. Minnesota 21. Well, they all finally played their first game this year. Hallelujah. And Ohio State wins one game against Nebraska, and now they're number 3. Wisconsin, they become number 9. They went from 14 to 9. Michigan went from 18 to 13. Penn State goes from number 8 to number 18. And the Gophers of Minnesota, they went back in their hole. They completely fell off, and nobody knows where they are now. And you can also throw in USC and Oregon. USC's number 24. Oregon's number 13. And they hadn't played a game. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams in the top 25 that haven't played a game. Well, then why the hell play at all? You tell me. That's a bunch of crap. I don't give two shits about your reputation. I don't care what college you are. So you can come in a third of the way, and these moronic sports writers will rank you. What a bunch of crap. Let's put a big asterisk by it. I'm sorry, girls, but you didn't play the first 4 games, so you have an unfair advantage because you have not exposed your players to all the injuries that your other opponents and other leagues have since day one, and now you want to jump in and say, oh, pick me, pick me. Yeah, stick that up your ass. I ain't buying that shit for a minute. But what really gets me is my team, Oklahoma State, is ranked number 6 in the country. Why? Now, you would think, being an alum and supporting the school, I would just be jumping for joy. No, I did that back in high school, but that's another story. Who have we played? University of Tulsa. That was just butt ugly if you watch that. West Virginia. Yeah, that was a little better, but I'm not writing home. Kansas. Kansas sucks. If you're a Jayhawk fan, you have my condolences because you guys are playing as bad as the Dallas Cowboys right now. In Iowa State. Now, I will say the Iowa State game was a decent one. The final was 24-21 OSU. But ugly? It was not a pretty win. OSU had multiple times where they tried to throw the game and lose it. They're number 6. This makes no sense. We haven't played anybody. And I know Gundy said the same thing going into the Iowa State game. Well, I guess we're going to find out how good we are. Yeah, they are. And this number 6 ranking is not going to hold up. I've watched Texas play. I've watched our nemesis, OU, play. Granted, OU has already lost 2 games. They aren't looking stellar. But I don't see anything that OSU has that says they are going to retain this number 6 spot. Because it's Oklahoma State. We are a top 20 team. That I have no qualms about. Because once you get past, say, 15 or so, the water gets really murky, and they've just got to vote on schools to fill the slot. I mean, we really don't need the top 25 because that's just pointless. But then when you have 48 bowl games, which is just absolutely ludicrous, and I know this because every year until this year, my friends and I would pick all the games, and it would take 30 minutes just to type out all the different bowl games and who's playing who. And it's like, my God, there's how many teams? Oh, that's right. If you win 6 games and have a 500 season or win 7, you're going to a bowl game. Yeah, thank you, ESPN, for coming up with the most irrelevant games that nobody gives 2 shits about except you, because you will sell advertisement on that. And I heard it, I believe it was 3 or 4 years ago, to empty stadiums. Well, we don't need to sell a ticket. One, we've already made our money. What do we care? Because, excuse me, you got advertisers to pay for your ridiculous TV time. So why don't we just have 100 ball games and everybody gets to play? What a bunch of crap. But OSU is number 6. Does anybody with a brain really think OSU is number 6? In fact, let's see what the current rankings are right now. I had it earlier and then it disappeared. Okay, Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Georgia. Those, with the exception of Ohio State, since they've only played 1 game, I mean, and this is what's so pathetic here. Clemson 6-0, Alabama 5-0, Notre Dame 5-0, Georgia 3-1, Ohio State 1-0 against a ridiculously bad Nebraska team. And then we open that, and there's Oklahoma State at number 6. You know, the last time Oklahoma State was really good and had a complete team was 2011. And they were dynamite. And they were ranked number 5, I believe, or number 3. And they went to play Iowa State and lost. They beat Stanford in their bowl game, but were they really were that good. It was a complete team. They had a good defense. They had an excellent offense. They were good. They played mistakeless football. They played together. This team, we're number 6. So we got Cincinnati, A&M, Wisconsin, and Florida behind us. Oh, and let's see, Wisconsin. Oh, they're 1-0. Florida decided to play. They decided to get in the fray. They're 2-0. I still like this. Oregon is number 14, and they have played 0 games and have lost 0. You know, what the hell? So let's just not play and we'll get ranked. What a bunch of crap. Yeah, there's still USC. Oh, Boise State snuck in this year at 1-0. Wow. What a bunch of crap. What are these guys smoking? How do you get ranked when you haven't played a game? or you've played one game against a pathetic opponent. This whole ranking system has been so screwed up since day one. When I was in college, yeah, we would argue back and forth, but you could see a method to the madness on how they rank teams. It made sense. We could follow it. I mean, we're talking the late 70s, the early 80s, and then we got the BCS, the Bullshit Championship Series. That's what it came down to, because that's what everybody wanted. Who was everybody? Sure the hell wasn't me. It wasn't my roommates, the guys I went to college with. There's all these clowns that work for the newspapers and Sports Illustrated and ESPN, which just started exerting more and more of their influence because it got bigger and bigger and bigger and just started squashing everybody. It was their pariah that just really screwed everything up. And I don't even know what they call it today, and I really don't care because it ain't much better. You're not going to have a national championship college football team until there is a bona fide playoff system, which that would mean eliminating the 3 or 4 bullshit throwaway tune-up games that every conference has and jump into the schedule and start playing ball day one, not week 3 or 4 or 5. Week 1, we are playing in our division and moving forward. And then we'll have our championship games if you have 2 divisions in your league. And then we can have, using the same bowl system, they all get their games. You can have 24 teams. You can have 12 bowl games. 12, not 40 plus. 12. All that minor league shit can be eliminated immediately. 12. And let's go through the process. It's really not that difficult. But I'm telling you, OSU as number 6 is not going to stand. Would I like it to stand? If they were that good, damn straight. But are they as good as Clemson, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Georgia? Yeah, I'm not even including Ohio State. And I'm not ragging on them because I was born in Toledo, so I'm a Buckeye. And I've supported Ohio State, even during the, what was that? The Schiffler, was that the quarterback's name? That gotten the gambling problems. So, yeah, I followed Ohio State through all their ups and downs and all that crap. OSU is not even in the same country as Clemson, Alabama, Notre Dame, or Georgia. There is no way they're going to beat OU and Texas this year. It's not going to happen. Would I love for it to happen? Hell yes, but it's not. Unless the teams decide not to show up or just get wrecked with injuries to where they're having to play their second or third string players. OSU's defense is very suspect. And Chuba Hubbard is not going to be able to run wild against OU and Texas. And that's actually what they've got. I like the young quarterback Sanders. He has potential. There's no doubt about it. But they are not on the same level as Clemson, Alabama, Notre Dame, or Georgia. Not today, not tomorrow, maybe in an alternative universe, but not this one. So, yeah, I'm kind of ragging, but that's just the way it is. I'm a realist. I understand OSU football. I would love for them to be in the top 5 consistently. But as I said, I'm a realist, and I just think it's ridiculous. And the guys that are voting on these teams really need to change suppliers because they are smoking the wrong stuff. And that's all I got today. So we'll catch you on the next one.